Today, let's discuss another Mendelian disorder, that is thalassemia. Now, in the previous class, we have discussed about sickle cell anemia, and we have seen that in sickle cell anemia is an example for autosomal recessive disorder. It's even an example for a point mutation, isn't it? Right. And we have seen that in sickle cell anemia, the beta hemoglobin chain will be affected. The synthesis of the beta hemoglobin chain will be affected. Or in other words, we can say there will be a defective beta globin chain formation in the case of sickle cell anemia. And it is due to the mutation of a gene on chromosome number 11, isn't it? Now today we are going to study another disorder, that is thalassemia. It was Thomas Benton Cooley who first reported this disorder in the year 1925. Now, as I've told you, let's see what are the features of thalassemia. The first one is thalassemia is an autosomal recessive disorder. Hope you know what is the meaning of autosomal recessive disorder. It's a disorder which is caused by the recessive gene, mutation of a recessive gene. Then the second point. Now, which kind of people who will be affected by the disease? Homozygous recessive individuals. Only homozygous recessive individuals will be affected by the disease. Then, who transmits this disease? Who are responsible? Heterozygous parents. Heterozygous parents transmit or inherit the disease to their offsprings. Inherit the disease to the offsprings. So these are the three general features of an autosomal recessive disorder. This we have studied when we studied about sickle cell anemia. So once again, thalassemia is also an autosomal recessive disorder, and which kind of individuals will be affected? Homozygous individuals only will be affected by the disease. If they are heterozygous or autosomal dominant, such individuals will not suffer from the disease. That means homozygous. Let us take the example as capital A. Capital A is homozygous dominant condition. The individual with this kind of genotype will not suffer from the disease. Another type is heterozygous. These individuals also will not suffer from the disease, but they are carriers. But those people with both the recessive alleles, that is homozygous recessive allele, will be affected by the disease. And the heterozygous parents, that is capital A, when both the parents are heterozygous, there are chances of three different genotypes for the progeny, isn't it? Which are the three different genotypes? From the father, capital A, from the mother, capital A. So this is one possibility. Another possibility is from the father, capital A, and from the mother, small a. This is heterozygous condition. And here, that is small a from the father and small a from the mother, which will be the affected person. Okay, so that is the third point, that is heterozygous parents inherit the disease to the offspring. Okay, so these are the three general characters of autosomal recessive disorder. Now what is the genetic reason? Let us see the genetic reason for this disorder, or the cause. How is this caused? As I told you, it is caused due to a gene mutation. Now, there are two different the genes responsible for the synthesis of hemoglobin chains are located on two different chromosomes. That is chromosome number 16 and chromosome number 11. So these are the two chromosomes on which we find genes which are responsible for synthesis of hemoglobin chains. And as you know, there are mainly two types of hemoglobin chains. One is alpha chain and the other one is a beta chains. Okay. Now, alpha globin chains, alpha hemoglobin chains are produced by genes found on chromosome number 16. Okay. And two genes are responsible for the synthesis of alpha globin chain. Which are the two genes? They are designated as two genes responsible for the synthesis of alpha hemoglobin chain are HbA1 and HbA2. So these are the two, HbA1 and HbA2. These are the two genes which are responsible for the synthesis of alpha hemoglobin chain. Now, each gene has, a single gene has normally how many alleles? 2 alleles, right? So, HbA1 has 2 alleles, HbA2 also has 2 alleles. Okay? Now, if a person suffers from this disease, that is, if the gene found on the chromosome number 16 undergoes mutation, it causes a disease we call as alpha thalassemia. Or we can say, if the alpha hemoglobin chain is affected, if the synthesis of alpha hemoglobin chain is affected, we call that as alpha thalassemia. Alpha thalassemia. If the genes on chromosome number 11 is affected, we call it as beta thalassemia. Now, alpha thalassemia, again, as I told you, there are two genes responsible for the synthesis of alpha globin chain, that is HbA1 and HbA2. Now, how many alleles will be there totally? Then 4 alleles will be there. If one allele is missing, due to certain reasons, suppose if any one of these alleles out of the 4, if any one of these alleles is missing, it will cause mild complication or mild symptoms. Okay, it may go unnoticed without showing much symptoms. But if 2 genes or 2 alleles are missing, if 2 alleles of these genes are missing, it causes a disorder called, we call it as thalassemia, alpha thalassemia minor. And if all the 4 alleles of these genes are missing, we call it as alpha thalassemia major, which is a highly complicated disorder which may lead to no production of alpha chains. Alpha hemoglobin chains will not be synthesized at all. That will result in low Hb count, and when the fetus is developed inside the mother's womb itself, the baby may die. So that is under this condition. Which condition? Alpha thalassemia major. When all the 4 alleles are missing due to gene mutations. Hope it's clear. So that is all about alpha thalassemia. So in alpha thalassemia, only the alpha hemoglobin chains will be affected. Whereas, and it is found on chromosome number 16. What is found? The genes responsible for the synthesis of alpha hemoglobin chain is found on chromosome number 16. And there are 2 genes responsible for the synthesis of alpha hemoglobin chains, that is HbA1 and HbA2. Each of these genes have 2 alleles. Each of these genes, they have 2 alleles, and the alleles, if one allele is missing, no much complications. If 2 alleles are missing, we call it as alpha thalassemia minor. And if all the 4 alleles are missing, we call that disease as alpha thalassemia major, which is a highly complicated disease. Hope it's clear. Now here what happens in alpha thalassemia major? No alpha hemoglobin chains will be synthesized. That will result in the quantity of hemoglobin. There will be less hemoglobin production. The production of hemoglobin will be affected. So the quantity of hemoglobin will be affected, and hence thalassemia is considered as a quantitative disorder. It is considered as a quantitative. The quantity, the number of disorder, whereas sickle cell anemia is a qualitative disorder. Why? Because in sickle cell anemia, only the beta hemoglobin chain, the quality of the beta hemoglobin chain will be affected. The production of hemoglobin will not be affected much. But in this case, the quantity of hemoglobin synthesized will be very, very low. Hope it's clear. So that is all about alpha thalassemia. Now let's see beta thalassemia. So beta thalassemia is caused due to gene mutation found on chromosome number 11. So when we studied about sickle cell anemia, we have seen that the gene responsible for the synthesis of beta chain of hemoglobin is found on chromosome number 11, and that gene is represented by HBB. HBB, there is only one single gene. Here there are two genes, right, and 4 alleles. Here there is only one gene. Only one gene found on chromosome number 11 is responsible for the synthesis of beta hemoglobin chain. And this gene has how many alleles? 2 alleles. So if one gene is missing, one allele is missing from this, then we call it as beta thalassemia minor. And if both the alleles are missing, we call it as beta thalassemia major. And in beta thalassemia major, what happens? The beta globin chains will not be synthesized at all. And hence again, the quantity of hemoglobin will be affected. So these are the two different types of thalassemia. Hope you all understood. So what is thalassemia? It is an autosomal recessive disorder. Homozygous recessive individuals will be affected. Heterozygous parents transmit the disease to the offspring, and the gene here, the quantity of hemoglobin will be affected, or the production of hemoglobin will be very, very low. There are two types of thalassemia, alpha thalassemia and beta thalassemia, depending on which gene responsible for which hemoglobin chain production is affected. If the gene responsible for the production of alpha chain is affected, we call that as alpha thalassemia, and if the gene responsible for the production of beta chain is affected, we call it as beta thalassemia. Hope it's clear? Right. Now alpha thalassemia, the gene is caused due to gene mutation found on chromosome number 16. There are two genes which are responsible for the synthesis of alpha chain. They are represented as HBA1 and HBA2. Each of these genes have 2 alleles, right? So totally how many alleles will be there? 4 alleles. If one allele is missing, then it will not show much complications or much symptoms. If 2 alleles are missing, we call it as alpha thalassemia minor, where the quantity of hemoglobin production will be affected. If all the 4 alleles are missing, then there will be no production of alpha hemoglobin chain, which will affect the quantity of hemoglobin production. Hope it's clear. So that is all about alpha thalassemia. And in beta thalassemia, we have seen that the gene responsible for beta thalassemia is found on chromosome number 16, and that gene is represented by HBB. It has 2 alleles. If one allele is missing, we call it as beta thalassemia minor, and if both the alleles are missing, we call it as beta thalassemia major. Now let's see what are the common symptoms of these diseases. From the explanation I hope now you can give me the symptoms. What are the symptoms? First one main symptom will be anemia. When hemoglobin production is affected, it will result in anemia. As a result of that, the person feels fatigue, very tired always. Then there will be increase in the rate of hemolysis, means RBC cells die off, right? That is hemolysis. And then fourth symptom that we find, that is pale skin. The person will be having pale skin. Then he will be showing some skin rashes called as eczema. Sometimes some bone deformities also will be found in people suffering from thalassemia, provided they survive. Right? If it is alpha thalassemia major, the baby will be born still So there is no question of these symptoms. These symptoms are found in living people, living individuals, right? So living individuals who are suffering from alpha thalassemia or beta thalassemia will be showing all these symptoms. Hope it's clear. So that is all about thalassemia. So sickle cell anemia is a qualitative disorder because it affects the quality of hemoglobin, whereas this thalassemia is a quantitative disorder. That is first point of difference. Second point of difference, in sickle cell anemia, the gene found on chromosome number 11 will be defective, resulting in low production or resulting in the synthesis of a defective beta globin chain. Whereas in the case of thalassemia, it may be either due to the gene mutation found on chromosome number 16 or due to the gene mutation found on chromosome number 11. Wherein if it is chromosome number 16, it will affect alpha hemoglobin chain production, and if it is chromosome number 11, it will affect beta chain synthesis. Okay, so that is all about thalassemia. Now one more disorder we will discuss today, that is phenylketonuria. This is a disorder which you have already studied, right? That is, we have studied phenylketonuria. As an example for, that is PKU, as an example for pleiotropy. What is pleiotropy? One gene governing more than one character. So now, what is phenylketonuria? Again, this is again an autosomal recessive disorder. Same 3 points you remember what we have studied for the other two disorders. Okay, so it's an autosomal recessive disorder. So second point will be what? Homozygous individuals will be affected. Homozygous individuals are affected. Then the third point is what? Third feature is heterozygous parents transmit the disease. Heterozygous parents transmit the disease to the offspring. Transmit the disease to the offspring. So these are the three general features. Okay. Now the cause. It is caused due to mutation of a gene found on chromosome number 12. Mutation of a gene found on chromosome number 12. You have to remember which chromosome is affected for each disorder. Okay, so here the mutation, the phenylketonuria is caused due to the mutation of a gene found on chromosome number 12. Now again, who will be affected? A person who is having homozygous recessive condition. Okay, now what happens when there is a gene on chromosome number 12 is responsible for the production of an enzyme by name, I hope you all remember, which is that phenylalanine hydroxylase. Isn't it? I hope you remember this. PAH is abbreviation as PAH. Okay, so phenylalanine hydroxylase is synthesized by a gene found on chromosome number 12. If there is some mutation of this gene, what will happen? This phenylalanine hydroxylase will not be synthesized. Now, phenylalanine hydroxylase is required for the conversion of an amino acid phenylalanine into, I hope you all remember, which is that tyrosine, right? So, PAH, that is phenylalanine hydroxylase, is required for the conversion of phenylalanine into tyrosine. Now, tyrosine is essential for what? It is the precursor of some of the chemicals like melanin. What is the function of melanin? It is responsible for pigmentation. Not only that, it gets converted into phenylpyruvic acid and its derivatives. And the accumulation of phenylpyruvic acid and its derivatives in the blood causes various complications. It may damage the brain, it may damage the bones or the joints. Okay, and the accumulation of phenylpyruvic acid, it is highly toxic to the body, and this cannot be absorbed by our nephrons. What are nephrons? The functional units of the kidney. So the nephrons cannot absorb phenylpyruvic acid, and hence phenylpyruvic acid will be excreted out in the urine. So we can find the presence of this phenylpyruvic acid in the urine of a person who is suffering from phenylketonuria. Now let's see what are the major symptoms of this disease. The first major symptom, that is lack of pigmentation. Lack of pigmentation of hair and skin. Lack of pigmentation of hair as well as skin. What is the reason for this? Because of lack of production of melanin. For the production of melanin, what is required? Tyrosine is required. So since there is no conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine, melanin will not be formed, and hence there is lack of pigmentation. That is the first symptom. The second symptom is the person will be having some intellectual problems, or his IQ will be very low. He will be having some disabilities. Okay, then so intellectual disabilities we can say, and the person will be mentally retarded. He will be mentally retarded. So that is the third symptom, mental retardation. So when you write mental, be careful to write. As students, many a time students make the mistake of writing it as mental, right? We miss the word N. So mental retardation. Then fourth one is their development, overall development will be affected. Okay, so the delayed development. Then another symptom is bone deformities. There will be some deformities for the bone. Bone deformities. Okay, so these are some of the symptoms of the disease phenylketonuria. Some people may experience convulsions also. What are convulsions? Shivering, intense shivering or intense tremors, which are seen usually in the case of fits or epilepsy. So such convulsions also will be found in some people who are suffering from this disease phenylketonuria. So we have studied phenylketonuria as an example for pleiotropy as well as an example for Mendelian disorder. Okay, so totally we have studied 3 different Mendelian disorders. All 3 are autosomal recessive disorders. The first one is sickle cell anemia, second one is thalassemia, and the third one phenylketonuria. Hope you all understood this. So that's all for today's class. Thank you.